right, it's another beautiful evening where we have to talk about the father and the son relationship. Now, remember, it's Men's Health Hour, and every time we talk about the father and the son relationship. Today, seated here with me, we'll have someone very extraordinary, someone who has toiled the soil and then come out with success all through. He's been in the government for a very long time, but this time around, he has decided to cheer, when it comes to information and orientation. So he has decided to be the head, of this particular unit. Join me in welcoming Mr. Erasmus Eteng. He is the Commissioner for Information and Orientation here in Cross River State. You're welcome, sir.
Thank you. Thanks.
Okay, now this is a program where we sit and talk about the men, what they have achieved, their growing up, how was it like, their relationship with our father. Now, there's so much about the girl child, there's nobody's talking about the boy child. And I'm concerned, what is happening to the boy child? Is it that, okay, the men just give birth to the boy child and allow them do the growing ups by themselves? Whereas our mothers are taking time to prepare the girl child to be a mother and, of course, a good housewife. So in my research, I discovered that our young boys get involved in so many things our parents are not proud of, especially being into cults, stealing, rape, as well. And if you look at their background, their fathers actually never did all of this. So I'm also curious to find out why is this generation like this. But first, let's meet you. Who is Mr. Erasmus Eteng? Tell us about yourself.
Yeah, my name is Erasmus Eteng. I'm from Boki in Cross River State. I'm a father of 4. I'm married to Destiny Erasmus Eteng. The marriage has been blessed with 4 children. I had started my education at some Novel school at Obobra. I did my university here in the University of Calabar, to the extent at this point I'm still about defending my PhD. So I'm still a student. Politically, I've been involved in many appointments. I was discovered by Senator Professor Ben Ayade, who initially brought me up from Port Harcourt, where I was out there after my youth service, did my tutorials there at NYSC in Newport. I came in as a community relations officer for Boki. Thereafter, he moved me to State Secretary Anti-Deforestation Task Force. And then I was to, as community relations officer for Boki, relay the very issues that happens in the community, cults, issues, trouble, marriages, anything that comes up. And then would they be able to recommend whoever needs any token from the government for assist and all that. So I did my work very well. He thought it wise in the second tenure to bring me up as, first of all, it was an interim task force on anti-deforestation, this timber logging. I was a state secretary, anti-deforestation task force. That lasted for about 4 months, where during that time I was able to impound almost 44 trucks. And then I did very, very well. To some extent, I was being threatened and a lot of things, issues and all that. He pulled me out of there and made me senior special assistant waste management. With so much energy in me, I felt that was not enough. For me, I was almost not having any work to do. So later on moved me to Director General Environmental Protection Agency that had, it's actually in the act, in the law. Blair had tried to bring it up. There was an office in Mercedes, but it died down after a while. So I tried to put the office together, tried to, kickstart. Before I knew it, not quite a year, I was now advised to run for State Public Secretary of the All Progressives Congress, where eventually I won. I became the State Public Secretary of the party till 16th of August, where His Excellency Senator Prince Bassett II, I haven't seen so much in me. He's been like a father. He understood the kind of, the personalities he was going to pick for his school. I was opportune and lucky to be given that platform by His Excellency Senator Prince Bassett II to anchor the information sector as commissioner.
All right, so much about this particular person today. I'm sure you're enjoying yourself and getting to know who he is, right? All right, now let's look at your growing up as a child while growing up. Talk to us about the experience. How was it like?
The experience was very tough. My both parents eventually ended up their teachers.
Okay.
So coming out from teachers, parents, and then Catholics, you know, we do respect to our digital churches now. We go more of what you want to get in 7 days, what house you want to be, like close my eyes in 7 days. Catholics actually has this commandment. They give you morals. These Orthodox churches, yeah, they're almost fading out, but they actually teach you how to behave yourself and respect people.
That's true.
How to dress, how to do things. We don't believe in, well, I don't know, it's possible, but we don't believe in 7 days if you don't work hard. One thing will come to you. You understand? So coming from that background, my parents were very strict. My father in particular, wow. If you have Chief Thomas Ekpan, who just retired, a lecturer in Faculty of Law, he has been chairman IRS in the state. He has been permanent secretary, governor's office. He has been director general, Crosspio. He's been in government. He's a very tough man. Everybody, in short, they dread him. Why? It was just for his discipline, straightforwardness, and A is A. He's not scared of anybody. He speaks his mind the way it is, you know, and all that. So we as children were equally scared of him, because my father has arrested me several times.
Oh wow!
Yeah, he has arrested me several times.
What did you do?
His point is this. No, his point is this. Once it's 6 o'clock, if it's his house and you come by 7 o'clock, he calls the police and says stranger is in his house.
Oh.
Yes, so you have to behave yourself. I mean, he didn't take side. My dad actually lectured in Faculty of Law and actually penalized my late daughter, who was a law student, for trying to talk during exam malpractice. He's that kind of father.
Okay.
So if somebody, so you can imagine what he does. Yes, you can imagine if we the children, you know, we're like, you know, that father relationship, yeah, wasn't there, but I learned a lot from him, and it has so helped me today. And it has given me this good name. I rise up to be who I am. You know, before I just sit down like this man said, if I do him something, I don't understand this kind of father. You know, but you know, there was no, we couldn't sit out to drink too much, do a lot of things together. He was this strict father that when he comes, even if my friends are playing with me, and he comes back on a break as a permanent secretary or chairman IRS, everybody will just start fading away one by one.
Wow.
Not that he has said go, but they'll just start advising themselves. That don't come, Mumu, they go.
Oh, wow.
He doesn't have shame. He doesn't have any reason to lie. He doesn't have a reason why not to embarrass you wherever you are, just to get things right the way it is. So if he tells you 666, if it's not that time, forget about it. So he was that kind of very disciplined man. He taught me a lot of things. I learned a lot of things from him. And actually, the who I am today, for some level of integrity, I think I took it from him.
Yeah.
For my mom, she was a very nice, caring woman. My father loved my mom so much, cared so much about my mom. So my mom was almost in charge of the hard man. Even when it looks hard outside, whatever my mom eventually wants or say stands.
So it's true it's true what they say that it is only the woman that has the key to her husband inside.
Yeah, I know that key. You always get that key where you give respect. Exactly. You know, for example, I can rant, I can just start ranting, I can just get angry now. You just keep quiet. You don't run back. You know, some women don't know that. You run back immediately could cause some issues. Just calm down, do as if you are the woman. You are not supposed to love the man. He's supposed to love you, but you're supposed to respect him. So you just do like it's not entering. After a while, cook food, make him, and then say, honey, see that we've been talk, sir. I think we've been too over. And the man would always calm down. But what a lot of women fail to understand is, as who gets hot first anyway, but mostly the man is hot and he's trying to like, and then you come and like, to add up, maybe just adding some abuses where useless man and all that, it may not go well with you. Like I've been married for more than 14 years and my wife has not said idiot or stupid before. But we are quarrel. There are ways we malice ourselves, we avoid ourselves. But I've never heard that alter anywhere. So that's why it's difficult for me to even fraternize with people out there. To say maybe I meet you today and I say let's have a drink, I say please get out. I wouldn't even understand that, because the wife that's the mother of my children has never said that to me. You understand? So my parents were disciplinarians. My dad never joked. 9 o'clock news, you must listen to it. And pen and paper, you will tell him what they said. The same with then you have friends he doesn't like. Even if you bring those days when growing up, you have a girlfriend that comes to visit, he may use cane and drive away.
Okay.
Yes, he's very strict. Yes, he may like, this is not your time, go. So if you know that kind of father, then don't try any shit. So what I mean, he has arrested or invited the police. Not that I stole. I don't steal nothing, but it's just that as at 6 o'clock when he said, get back home, you are not there. So anytime 8 o'clock, 9, coming with some friends, he will just call the police and like, and they themselves, maybe it's not that, but this is not your son now, we know. They will not do anything serious, but he has given his order. This is my house. You understand? This is my house.
And you live by my rules.
Yes, that is it. Once you play to his rule, he's the best father any man will want to get. He's the most caring father. He's somebody who, even before his death, about a year ago, paid my hospital bill a week to his death. I had all the money, but he felt I didn't want to go to the clinic. So he went ahead to pay the clinic and asked people to look for me and force me at my age to get treatment because I don't like medicine, I don't like injections. So he's a very caring. You can always get him down when it comes to education, health, all those book education. He was a lecturer.
Now, do you think, after listening to your story between you and your dad and who you are today with your own children, do you think our parents, especially our fathers, are actually failing in their duties?
I think with this modern generation, to some extent, parents, mostly fathers, have failed. I won't lie to you. I would say my father did not really fail. He did very well because till my master's, when I was about starting my master's, he paid my fees. I was working then, I had my money, but he wanted it to be symbolic, like I'll pay your fees, and he did that. He gave it to me. So, but a lot of parents just allow things be. Some they go out, they come back. You don't know when, and all that. You understand? So it's totally. A lot of parents have failed. Mostly fathers, they failed. We allow our children with a lot of these digital things. We are changing. We're almost getting to that Western life where it's so bad. Where I see a lot of things happening now with the population coming up. I feel for our son, and I'm so happy, and I will commend you for even thinking of the boy child, because I know how even my daughters, I take care of them. I don't joke with them. I know how I'm my son's friend, and I'm hard to him too. You understand? Because we just think they can, just be fine, but they can't be without our mentoring, without our punishment, without our, because the things my son does to my wife, he can't even try it if he hears I'm in the house.
Oh, wow.
He believes himself because he knows that this one will tackle you man for man. The way I spank him is different from the way I spank the girls. I spank him hard. It's different from the girls, because for the girl, where do I hit you? I don't even know where to start to hit you.
We're too soft.
But I will know where to either tell you to sit down there for 1 hour.
Exactly.
That alone will make my daughter cry for the whole day. But for the boy, I would spank him seriously for him to know that, man, you don't do that. Because as naughty and crazy and funny I was growing up, it's my blood, it's my DNA. So there are ways you see give friendship and some kind of because I had I was very stubborn growing up.
All right, talking about your wife, tell us, how did you meet her? And at that time you proposed to her, did you just feel, it was time for you to get married, or your mates were getting married and you need to get married and also belong to the same,
These are very personal issues. Anyway, since it's for who I am, well, my wife, Destiny, is from River State. After my service,
nice.
I served in Port Harcourt, and
okay.
At least I got something out of the wife. I went to a gym. I met her in a gym, a beautiful lady and all that. And I decided to propose. Not immediately though, but I tried to get her out. I worked out with a very handsome friend of mine. So the two of us who had lived together and were like scavengers, we just go out there for the chicks.
Okay.
Those days. So the thing is, it's who gets first.
Okay.
Something like that. So both of us approached her. And I think, in a sense, she just gave me her number. I think my friend was even more handsome than myself. He's in the US now, but she gave me her number. And asked my friend, well, you can get it from him. So we started that competition, and then eventually she got to see like, okay, maybe this one is more a homely guy. I need to settle down maybe. And then, so at some point, I'm somebody like I told you, I don't say what I can't do. You understand? So at some point when I told her that you're going to be the mother of my kids, I hardly opened my mouth to just look at somebody on the road and just tell you I love you, I do this. I'm a very strict person when it comes to, I'm very true to when it comes to time with your emotions. If there's any other thing we can but if it comes to emotions, I'm very careful. So I spell it out from day one. So I told her I wanted her to be the mother of my kids. And then she had to think about it. After a while, I left her for like 6 months. We kept talking on phone. At times where 30 minutes, 15 minutes, we'd be chatting. I'll be in Lagos. I was then in Lagos. And so when I got to Port Harcourt, I decided to take her out. She got me trips. By not calling too many things. I had so much money then, as a very single young man. I had some money, even in dollars. So when I took her to the best hotel in Port Harcourt, then lodged in short, I even when I had to get a room ahead, thinking this one, you know. But eventually she shocked me. She refused to stay out with me. And then when I was even asking her, take whatever you want, she took some very things that didn't cost then up to, I had close to $17,000, and she didn't even spend up to $50 or $40, or, you know. So I had compared that with other people I've run with, and you know, what thing people don't know at times, it may have been a setup, I don't know, but sometimes your first impression matters. If you really need a relationship, you don't need to say, my guy is calling me, I come with 2 girls, 2 ladies, 3 ladies. It's very obvious that if I'm the guy, I'll call 3 guys too to come and join us so that we'll all be together. It's very obvious that the person, but if you see a reasonable person that means business, it means that even when the person sees that you're driving a Jeep, you're doing well, the person comes natural, because the natural person, those that would demand for 21 years, Moet and all those very expensive drinks, check where they stay, check their background. So maybe staying a bachelor. But you see the very big man's daughter that were well brought up. What is this she hasn't seen in her house that she has to be tripped about? So she's from a very big family, though I didn't know at that time. And then she took everything easy. So it got me trip, and one of those days we traveled to the UAE, and then I just, one of those 31st, I said I should just surprise her with a ring in Dubai, and then I engaged her. And then we started from there, started planning and all. It wasn't even very easy because I had had a relationship before that gave me a child. You know, like I told you, my youthful, I was a very in and out, stubborn, and all ladies guys, you know, something like that. So I had a lady who had a child for me, my first child. They are abroad. So even the family could not really accept that, but after a while, they let it go. So that was how I introduced myself to her, proposed to her, and she accepted. And by the grace of God, today, that marriage is blessed with 3 children, 2 girls and a boy. And then God has been so faithful to us, so from step to step.
All right, let's look at your memorable moments that strengthened the bond between you and your father.
My father has always told me to try my best academics and get to the PhD, which I am now. My father did that for me. And then my father was this very father that could hide some things, like, you know, he has this personal arrangement with him, his bankers and all that. But there was one of these days he surprised me, called me out, and then started bringing some of our landed properties in the village, things he had, the problems in the village and his family people. He just started telling me all those, you know, that was quite memorable for me. You know, he started telling me this one, if you go here, this side, this land like this is, as if that was far before he even died anyway, because his death was cardiac arrest. It wasn't even planned for. You know, as if he died at 74. So not as if he planned that he was going to die, but those were very memorable. You know, at some point when I grew up to be on my own, from that strict father, he became a friend. We gist. So whenever I go to the house to visit, he will want me not to go. He will tell me I'm always in a hurry, I'm always very impatient. Why am I rushing to? To sit down there, and then he can gist, he can talk. So he will just be giving me gist about some things I never knew. He opened up. Somehow just tell him, Daddy, you're bothering yourself about something. Like, just dash down on that one. Dash that land to. He will not tell me, let me tell you. And it was somebody that they will not allow you cheating anyhow. He says, you pinch, he bites. He just waits for trouble. He waits. He doesn't look for trouble. But when you go, you know, you can imagine, for instance, one of his younger brothers went to, one of those examples, went to cut these loggers, now timber, from his farm, like 2-3 trunks. And then at the end of the day, he arrested the boy. And I was like, Daddy, just come on cutting trees. Why would you? He not told me, no. It's to check. It's to checkmate. If you don't checkmate these people, they will allow. And then he said, go and bring those trees back, even if you have sold them to a point. But I said, Daddy, how would he put the plans back together? He said, however he knows. Let him, you know, but at some point resolve it. So he's that kind of person. He needs that respect. Tell him what you want to do. And then, so there are some very key things I knew about him, his properties, a lot of things that he never told me even in the university days. He never spoke to me about what he wants, what he really, where, and he would tell me, hey, there's this property behind the house. I want you to own that one from. You know, those were very memorable. I never had anybody telling me you will inherit this property. He will come back and start telling me this one is here by this area. I think you should have that one and all that. So those are very memorable times I have with him.
All right, now having this memorable time you have with your father and knowing who your father is, you have a son now. So how do you strike the balance between being a friend and a mentor to your son?
My son, surprisingly, when he was 6, about 9 years now, he was asked to do a presentation, and I was really tripped. I was not even around because for a while now I work here there in Port Harcourt. And then when he has to talk about his father, my father is this, my father is that, my father is director general here and all that. And then my father is my hero.
Oh.
I watched the video when my wife sent to me, and I was really touched because he's somebody, I discipline him. He's you know, a young boy that he lives in the midst of women there. I tried to teach him some things. Like after 7 years, he should be having a bath by himself. Okay. And then he should actually avoid his nakedness where the sisters are. And then even now, except I'm not around, if I enter and maybe he's trying to clean up, he will actually drive the younger sister out. You know, those kind of like, you know. Okay. And then he's my friend. We talk. I had a stillbirth boy. He died. He didn't make it before a year. Then he came next. So I was always asking my wife, how would I ever love a boy or get a boy close to me? Because you know, babes, ladies, girls are very soft and you can always play with them. But the guy would always be very hard. You know, so but when he came, he was just that very wonderful kid, very, very intelligent. You know, I taught my first daughter Tokido because she was best all around river schools in some courses, my daughter. And then my daughter right now is even on scholarship because she's tight. So, but the boy plays a lot, very, very unassuming. But whenever I see his result, I ask him, do you really write these things? He has some because I personally don't read for more than 3 hours. Anyhow, tough the exam is. I look at it, I go through what I want to go through, and I'm fine. I'm not belong with that type. I don't go through things. I just go and write what I know, and I get my A. So I think he picks a bit of that because he hardly reads. You see him playing, trying to destroy the somersaulting here. You know, he has so much energy in him and all that. And, you know, very tricky. Sometimes it reminds me of me, you know, that there's some... there was one time he was almost well beaten by the mom. And what he did was, he just went quietly down because at that time, the backyard downstairs door was always permanently locked. He now ran out of the duplex and then locked them in. Oh. At like 6-7 years, locked them in. I was here, they were calling me, they were now locked in. And all he was begging for was he wanted them to calm down because he believes that after some hours, the mother will calm down, that temper and anger. So he sat down by the door waiting for them and I couldn't talk with him. I was really shouting, why would Gian do this? He should open the door and say, see me sit up. We are locked inside the house. The neighbors were, you know, he wouldn't give the key. But I think at some point, when my wife knew that, man, it was now almost begging him. Okay, come and open the door because I need to go for a meeting. So when he opened the door, maybe a tap on the head, it wasn't that same beating force my wife wanted to give him. So he picked some traits from me. I did some of those kind of funny things when I was young. Okay. But he's my friend. We discussed. I learned a lot. Like my dad, my dad was very tough, so I was a bit tough too the other way around. So, but for him, you know, I try to learn from the mistakes of our parents to correct. So he's like my friend. If you want to drive my best car when he's up to age, no problem. I started driving at 13. Oh, 13. Yes, very, very early. We had a lot of cars in the compound, so I started driving at the very age. So if he wants to do that at an okay age where he can do that, I will give him a free hand. He wants to hang out with his friend. Not like, you know, my dad will just wait for you. If you're graduating today and using his flat boot, his Mercedes, then he waits till the 6 o'clock. He can hands down everybody in that car with all the girls inside and collect his key in front of everybody. Yes, but I could just give him free hand. You understand? And possibly extend his own time to 9 or 10. I don't know if it's the best Jeep I have, you know, but to make them always understand that it was difficult for me to reach there. Exactly. Because look at it very well. I went to some public schools. I went to Unica. Today we put our children in private schools, very expensive. I don't buy that. I'm not a fan because you put your child where the school is 1 million. It means the school is more intelligent or whatever. The girl in Owerri that won the best jam score stuff. I think it was a public school, not private expensive school. Public school. Yeah, public school. So we don't judge by that. So I try to make them understand that you were born since you were born because of the likeness of your father to you guys. You've not drank pump water, it's bottled water too. You've been using air-conditioned cars. My first daughter and my wife today is 14 years. And then you've been using air-conditioned car till today. You have not even wind down or used keke. You don't know all that. Know that your daddy really suffered. So very soon, my wife's shop, I'll be sending my daughter there to go and sit with her and learn. Exactly. The boy will learn a lot of things. He may even do mechanic trade tests. Okay. Some things that will make him know how to, like I myself do trade tests. My father made me do that. So if I have a problem with my car today, I can actually tell you it's coming from overeating and all that. I just feel I should end this here right now, but we still have a lot of questions to ask you. No problem. Because this has to do with
the father and the son.
Yeah.
In as much as we get to know who you are, your personality, how you started, you understand? Because our young boys, they need to understand that you don't just wake up one day in the morning and then you see money anywhere and you decide to spend it. You don't even know how the money is being made. So which brings me to my next question. What's your view about father-son relationship? But before I allow you to answer that, let's quickly take a short break and then we'll be right back. Welcome back. Before we went on a break, we actually asked our guest the relationship between father-son relationship. We have been speaking with the Commissioner for Information and Orientation in person, Mr. Erasmus Eteng. And guess what? He has been thrilling my interview today. Like, I felt like, okay, let him handle the, the questions while I do the answer. But it's okay. It's my show, and we'll continue from there. Welcome back from that break, sir. Now, before we went on a break, I asked you a question. What's your take or your view about the father-son relationship?
Yeah, father-son relationship, very, very important. Absolutely, I think is the most important, because for the boy child, it's even more difficult to handle, though it looks like the boy gives out while the lady brings in. So we are more careful with the girl child, because whatever she takes from outside, bring it into the house. If it's a child, it becomes that child you take care of. But the boy child too, where you take care of kidnapping, peer group, rape, alcohol, drugs. You know, sometimes we cheer up everybody, you get happy, I have a boy child. But at the end of the day, you sit down in your old age and regret so much, and that could even kill you very early. So the relationship between the father and the son thing is very, very important. Like I said earlier, there are a lot of things my son does and get away with them with my wife. But when I'm around, he knows this one is the guy who's going to handle me seriously. So he behaves himself. He won't even murmur or talk. You understand? Then we still have that, friends. We talk, we gist, we share channels. You understand? Even when I have the extra view, at times I could just want him around. Tell him just, Daddy, can I know? Go ahead, do what you want to do and all that. So I kind of blow the hot and the cold, try to make him see that. You understand? But stay off this. This is not right. There are things like growing up, I had very terrible friends and very loving friends too. I actually sieve and choose those I want to work with or play with. You understand? Like if it goes to where I will do a lot of drugs, a lot of marijuana or something, I stay off those. So I have that strong will not to be controlled by friends. And if it's my DNA, I think you have a bit of that, because going up to, I'm trying to coach him to with the effect. At times I just show him some videos of a drunkard, somebody who did this, where you end, how they kill you, how the government, you can't fight the government will come after you and kill you. You understand? And there are some things you do, even your daddy cannot, even if he's a minister, he cannot help you. You know, so I think the father-son relationship is very, very important to shape on the boy to actually have respect for a lady. For a woman has respect. Yeah, you could have your argument, you could have your wife. At times I could just tell man, you're fooling around. I don't know what you're doing. You know, yeah, I use those kind of. But you know, I'm just being very open to you. But you have to guard your mind to not to go with the very strong word that make her not forget. Because if you're actually married or dating somebody like the young boy, after some years you'll be able to know yourself and say, this ain't not me within the 21 years. Because I can yap. Imagine I grew up, I have a senior sister myself, 3 younger sisters before 2 boys. So I grew up with girls. And then eventually we had all this Stephanie Okereke all living in our house then in Calabar when they were Stephanie, Stella Damasco, they were all her friends, my youngest friend. So I had a lot of girls in my house. You understand? So I could sit down with 3 of you. I yab you seriously. It's just for publicity's sake and my status today that I try to avoid. But you can, you know, I try to make my son know that you can't come as a girl with any tricks, and I won't understand because I had, you know, my sisters to some extent were runner of was beautiful girls, if you know them, in Calabar too and all that. So I grew up with the cream chicks, girls, you know, and all that. So I'd always ask my son, respect the ladies. Anything, I have the last daughter, Muji, but anything that happens between him and the girl, even when the girl is somehow wrong, I try to make him, you're the guy, you're the boy, you're stronger, take it easy. I'll caution his girl later, but you don't over. Because I may just go one day and travel and leave you in this house. You're the man in charge. You're the one even watching over money. So if you don't take care of these people now, how do you expect me to believe that you can, you know, understand? So even when I travel, I give him something, I call him behind and tell him, you know, you are now in charge. I've gone. You are now, all of them has, the speaker is there, we have the governor, we have the head. I've divided portfolios to all of them.
Oh, wow.
You understand? So they know their roles. You understand? So I handle him, the relationship for a father and son, very, very important.
Of a truth, we know that raising children could be difficult, especially raising a boy child. Now, tell us the challenges you face while raising a boy child and how you were able to overcome it, because it's not easy.
I'm not really overcome with it. There are still challenges because he's just 9 years old. He's my son. Yeah. Except for other people that work with me as boys, my PA, my driver, and all that. Yeah, like I gave you that instance of him locking the mother in. Those are very strong challenges. Like,
what did you do to him?
No. What I did, you know, I waited. Like, you know, I would always call him and tell him, even if it takes 1 month, when I come back, you'll be punished. Okay. So I have this punishment of, you know, for them, sitting down here where I am, it means you won't move. One place for 1 hour is big punishment. At times he just starts crying. Because he runs around, he plays a lot. So if you can keep him down for 2 hours, and then you're watching like channels, news, something you know is not interesting to them. You understand? But you know, I said gradually trying to bring him up to watch news and tell me what they say, so that he will actually know what is happening in Nigeria. You know, and all that. They watch their cartoon, but sometimes when I'm around, they just say, "Daddy, 9 o'clock news. This is what they'll go ahead to start telling me." And then church. I don't go to church. Every Sunday when they call me, I ask him, "What is it you learned today? And how do you approach the next person close to you? Tell me." So that they have it behind their heart and mind that anytime they go to church, they must come up with something. And another thing too, buying of things, taking them out, giving money. Most times when I want to travel, they have savings, they have box. I give them money from seniority. So at times you may just be punished not to have. If there's something pending you've done that is not right. You know, I've been trying my best with him. He's just this very deaf guy that does a lot of very crazy things, but he doesn't joke. Would I say fear? Because sometimes he just follow me, wrap my hair, love me, and stay by me and start asking me questions. So wherever it goes, he comes back very fast. But I never had the opportunity to wrap my father's neck really close to him. Because for me, my dad was strict. My dad was very strict.
I can imagine.
But I loved him so much, and I learned a lot from him.
Yeah. Okay, now, so would you say that the modern technology now has really affected a boy child so much?
Yeah, to some extent. Look at the level of drunkards we have. rape cases, kidnappers, cultists, and all that. It has. I mean, I can't understand when a father has a child, be it a girl child or a boy child, he don't pay their bills. He just allowed them to the street. I worry for these Colombo boys. Incidentally, when my wife was around on one of these anniversaries, she went around, bought a lot of bags of rice, going around these Colombo boys, giving them. Went to Lemna, went to Bogobe by Crunches and all that. I worry for these states. We are still working out modalities on how to cushion that Colombo boys things up. Because as they are all boys. They had parents, they had fathers, people who neglected them. And then, you know, the boy has a very strong heart. The boy may not run like a girl, but they could bury. There's some things he may have done to a 6-year-old boy. He's looking at, he's watching it. We have these boys everywhere across banks. They could give information. They could buy phones. They could just say, just withdraw some bags of money coming out. You understand? They don't have. I mean, where is their father? I don't even understand. Well, maybe the way I was brought up, where a father would even for the girl child, send a girl child that maybe I know you have a boyfriend that's very rich, and then I accept you anyhow, very comfortable in my parlor, and you are doing anyhow because you have money. It won't work for me. It won't work for me. Not talk of the boy, where I know that if I miss you a bit, you go smoking dope. How would, I mean, for parents, I feel for parents, today we are parents, I feel for parents who have just let their children out there. They die quick of high blood pressure and a lot of other things because you look at yourself, what have you achieved? Is this the son I thought I had? Coming in to even beat you. Some son would attempt to even fight their father. You understand? It's the upbringing. We must be close to our son, yet discipline them. You understand?
Yeah.
So it's really bad. I think this digital age is not helping us. I won't lie to you. We just have to, you know, put some very strict measures like it's always been. Not like those archaic days, but at least let the child understand that I am a son, these are my responsibilities, this is where I have to support, this is what I have to do. Not just, I mean, how can you be a father and you don't talk to your son for like a month?
You don't even know.
Even if you are in Eskimo, even if you are in Russia, you don't even know where he is, where he slept. Tomorrow you hear one army or police case, they arrested him somewhere. Because you never even taught him what was right and wrong. He decided to go in the street with his peer group.
Exactly.
You could just be surprised that the big man's son could just turn an arm robber. You know, so by the grace of God, I think I have a good relationship with my son. And I pray that other parents, more other parents that even have better relationship with their sons than mine, to keep straight, and even those that you must talk to your boy. And even when things go bad, you know, the boy, a man will listen to a man. You can't really talk to my boy. But when I go and look at him and call him, there are strong things I'll just tell him in just 5 sentences. He will now rearrange himself. But my wife cannot.
So what do we do? What are those things we need to put in place to build up a boy child to become a man and a father?
Show them some love. Let them understand the good, the bad, and the ugly. You understand? Encourage them, even when they fail. Bring them closer. You expand them. Don't neglect them. Keep in touch with your son. At least, wherever you are, if your son is enough to pick us, at least 3 times a week. Keep in touch with us. Encourage him, ask him how things are going. You see yourself in your son. Everything you labored for, you stress for, in the archaic days is for boys. It's not that we now think for the girls too, we should mention that this building will belong to my daughter. I write it in the will. Almost everything goes to the boy. So imagine after, you know, doing so much for the society, you die, and then your boy comes, sell everything, use it for drugs. So it's very important for us to look at that boy child. You understand? So I think more encouragement, more love will set the pace.
Now on a lighter mood, what kind of food do you eat as a man?
Every food, apart from dog and snake.
Wow.
And all that. Yeah, I don't choose food. I don't eat dog, I don't eat cats. Or whether snake or whatever. I mean, I don't. But every other food, you know, good thing I don't select food. You know, times I get with my friends. My wife was telling one of my friends, she cooks this, the husband does not boil. Look, I said, that means you're lucky. Me, I'll even enter and cook whatever I like. I eat everything apart from these things I mentioned, and a few others maybe I can't remember. But any soup you bring now, I'll eat with you.
Because I was told for a man there's some certain food.
Yes, a lot of men select. That's what I meant. For me, I don't. For me, I don't. I eat every other food other than dog or snake or whatever. I won't even try those things.
Okay, now that you're not selective, I'm sure that you also will not be selective in terms of music, the kind of music you listen to.
My mood.
Oh, the pitch, the kind of song.
But I'm very emotional. So I don't joke with Michael Bolton. I don't joke with Whitney Houstons.
How can someone so strict and hard be emotional?
Funny enough.
Is that possible?
Funny enough. Go through this. Most of the very strict, tough guys are very emotional. Just go through it.
Wow.
Those very quiet ones that may not just talk and are so hard, and I'm very emotional. There are some even questions you almost asked me about my dad. I heard myself not rejected.
Yeah, I noticed that. Okay,
I'm very passionate about that. I'm very emotional.
Yeah.
Forget the strictness. I mean, sometimes I try to shed my tears inside the bathroom before I come out so that my wife will not see. Many things, something happened to my daughter and I broke down. But I try to be very hard so that they don't know. But even if I'm my wife, I'll go and but I'm very, very emotional.
All right, let's talk about your best moment.
My best moments. I've had a lot of best moments. Being a commissioner is one of my.
Just tell us just one.
Yeah, being a commissioner is one of my best moments. Okay. At least the height, the level, the responsibilities, the respect, the accolades. I went to River State for something, and I was mentioned to sit beside the Deputy Governor of River State and all that. So being that, I give all the praise to God and thank His Excellency Senator Prince Vice-Senator for giving me this opportunity. So I think it's one of my best moments. And then having my kids too. I've always been there in the theater seeing them coming out. All my kids, so I think that's one of my best moments too. Because God has been faithful to us. We've had childbirth, deaths, and all that, but God has kept my wife alive.
Share with us your embarrassing moments.
Two. At least I can remember those always from my dad. Growing up when I went to some schools, almost 5 secondary schools.
5?
Yes. So, yeah. But incidentally, I didn't repeat the class. I was very intelligent, so I could meet up. But sometimes I discharged myself from some schools. I didn't just like the school, they put me there and I leave.
Okay.
You understand? And yeah, this is a big man's son, so you can imagine my father would look for all the security to start finding me where I ran to and all that. We didn't have a relationship like my friend like that growing up. But later on in life, we started bonding seriously. Okay. And then there was this time I was in Marino College, I noticed that there was this special students. They always treat them specially. Give them special food, treat them. All these guys with double glasses work somehow. Okay. So I was wondering, how do I get to be a special student? So one day I met one doctor that came a trainee, and I told him I was a special student. He said, I was it. I said, please, do you know what? We're talking like a JS2 boy. I said, look, just draft something. So that I was well punished in Marinol. My friends, I was just too stubborn and tricky and a dodger. So they always catch me. I would always lie, I'm sick. And they were like, where's the evidence of that sickness? I don't have. So I met this doctor. And then he dropped something that I had SS as a sickler. I told him to do something that shows that. Okay. So I don't even know the doctor's name now. I mean, we're talking many years back. So he dropped that, and then I now became a special student. So these other seniors were looking at me like, is it not this Erasmus we've been teaching that just called a special student? So I shot my clearance. I was not a special student. I had SS. I didn't even know then. They told me I didn't even know the meaning of SS. So I was walking around. So luckily for us, as a student, when they want give the normal pool Gary, they may do beans and nice food for us. So that day, I think Pamosis then, he was the chief chef for Marino College. There was no food for us, so special student had to take the food to another angle where they prepare. Unluckily for me, I had the food. I was now head boy of special students because honorably I was very special. So I chanced all of them. I was holding their food, eating all their food. So eventually, my dad drove into the school to visit me on a visit on the Saturday. And he saw me carrying food stuff with some double glasses kind of children follow me behind. And he called me up and what's the problem? And I said, Daddy, you don't understand. I wasn't even expecting. I said, Daddy, you don't understand. I'm a special student. He said, what's the meaning of special student? I said, Daddy, I have SS. Meanwhile, I don't know the meaning of SS food then. Oh my God. So my father said, my own son have SS. So I enter the class. So I hand over the foodstuffs to, I'm serious. Hand over the foodstuffs to, I'm not supposed to say this is, but just, I would like to have the food to the next most SS person. And then enter the car. And they took me to the principal's office. Gave me 12 strokes of the cane and warned that I can even do V-pushing. That I'm very strong in myself. That he doesn't even have, not even the mother essay or whatever. That was very embarrassing for me because the whole school like, those seniors have been trying to beat you and they never beat you. Oh, the next when he left, my eyes suffered. I can imagine. Exactly. That one passed. There was one other time I wanted to travel somewhere, I needed some money. So I felt as a small wise boy too. I needed to top some money at Bedwell. There's one tall guy that sells me this part. My father sent me a part to go and buy. So I now went and told him, 15 hours, 10 hours on top, and told him, just stop this, do it like this. The man agreed. Unluckily for me, I didn't know my father knew the price of that very item. My father was chairman IRS then, with a lot of internal revenue, tax people following him everywhere. So when he came in, I said, how much did you buy? I told him the price. He said, are you serious? Is this thing like this? Oh yeah, enter the car, let's go to the place.
Oh no. Oh no.
I felt like melting. So when I got there, he now said, where did you buy this part? I told him I can't remember where I bought the part. Meanwhile, unluckily for me, that man was waving at me when he saw, but he didn't know that it's even him they're looking for. So my father now, are you sure you don't know? He was like, my father, he always have king in his boot too. So I was like, man, what kind of wala is this? So at the end of the day, the man now came to me and greeted me. Boy, now you don't come. Now I forgot this. I think the part work. I thought, so you're the one that saw the part. How much was it? Oh my God, I didn't even know what to do. So the man was trying to do what I asked him to do. But I said, if you pay their tax, the Igbo people naturally then, they don't like paying what they call tax. That they should seal the shop, and the guy now shouted, I said, please, let him tell them the truth. Before he could say that, that's the last statement I had, because me, I disappeared. And I went and said that for almost 1 week with my friends. Then I was like, yeah, 1 or so there about the Unica. So those were very embarrassing moments, because the part dealers knew I lied. And then for the other side, the school knew I was not SS.
All right, doing the right thing brings me to, let's say, almost the last question. If you're given a chance to change something in Nigeria, what would that be?
Corruption.
Why corruption?
The genesis of all the issues we have today is corruption. Even if I can change or minimize it, I'll be very happy. Let's call it spade a spade. You're doing a contract of 100%. And then you have 35% or 30% that is your own. That means 70% can do that job.
Okay.
But people will still do that 100%, even do variation and add more. All to build skyscrapers, cars that will knock and spoil tomorrow you die. Look at the mentalities of everybody. Today you have a contract, a small job to do, everybody's eyes are there. So if you have 1 million or 2 million to execute a particular job, you do it with 1.2 because 800 is going for people. So if only we can actually be contentment. Just be okay. As I can wear my boxers and sit there and walk on the road, forget commissioner. I don't need to do a physio, one big boy, no.
Exactly.
So if we can actually be very okay with what God has given and how we are, I think we'll be fine. So I think my best bet is corruption. If you go to the NEPA sector, if the NEPA man, with due respect to them, want some level of money, they hear you're doing it better, whatever, they'll sit like that area. You must come and see them. So corruption will my one for me. If I can change, if I'm given an opportunity to head any corruption or corruption agencies, honestly, except the president stops me, a lot of people go to jail. Except the president stops me, where I know that's where my loyalty stands with. A lot of people will actually face the wrath. You just have to use, even my son, for an instance. Yes. I mean, if my father could actually work on my younger sister from law exams, then it means I can actually lock my door, because I used to tell my son one day that there's one time I fought on the road in Marion, and I was locked up for some months. So if I lock you up for 3 months or a month for you to have some senses together, I think I'm fine. Because when you come out from jail, from cell, not jail, you are either going to be a born again or a better person or a criminal. Because there's a way it reforms you inside there.
Exactly. So you have to
just sitting down here alone for 1 month is enough discipline. So corruption is just what I want to change in Nigeria.
All right, and then lastly, what would be your advice to the fathers watching us right now, and then to the young men who feel they could just do whatever they like in the country?
Well, my advice to fathers is love your children, love your boy child, take him close, drag him closer to you, love your son, encourage him, open up some bits. We don't know the next minute. You may go any minute. Your son may be able to interpret a lot of things. Teach your son the good, the bad, and the ugly. At times, show him the bad sides, and then show him the good sides too, so he'll be able to choose. And then for our young men growing up, be patient. We have boys that are very, very impatient. You join cult. You join whatever you want to join. To do what? What do you want to do? A lot of governors today never join cult. A lot of people claim a lot of them are Ebony and this and that. Stories, lies, minds for the weak. Some people have grown to where they are through God's grace. So all I have to advise our young boys is just be patient, do the right thing. I think even if you're selling pure water today and you start with 2 bags, in the next 5 years you'll be able to buy a car. So just be patient and know that gradually all these things will come. The East River would have been governor before, and today wants to run for governor again after so many years. So just be patient. Your time will come and it has to come. Okay, now you smoke, you drink so high and you get high and you start disturbing people. How does that add to you? Why don't you look at people like the likes of the Ben Ayades, the likes of Senator Prince the two, whatever their positive sides, their leaders, and say, see, today I'll be like them one day. Why would you think to be like Anini or one criminal? You know, for anyhow you say you're tough, you're a cultist, nobody can find you. If the government set its X-ray on you, in less than 1 week they'll get you, and you'll be killed like a chicken. So I want to advise my young men to be patient, to love themselves, encourage themselves, and always take care of their women. Take care of your wife or your girlfriend. If you know you're not strong enough to hold one, don't bother going into it.
All right, thank you so very much, sir, for coming to the program. I really appreciate your time. And that's how we have to wrap it up for today's episode of the Men's Half Hour Show. I'm sure you've learned a lot. Now, there is one thing I am picking from his words. Patience is the best key. When you're patient enough, you get every other thing you want in life. My name is Catherine Asukor. See you next week. Bye-bye.